Hey guys, this is Miss Quigley. I'm going to be modeling character clue and point of view. All right, we're going to start with our point of view anchor chart, the character clue and point of view. Who the story is about is the character. Clue is where did you find your text evidence? The point of view is the way the character thinks or feels. So if they think a certain way or feel a certain way, where is that text evidence to back up that information? Where can you find that text evidence in the story? All right, so we're going to read Once Upon a Baby Brother. What I really love about this story is it's so appropriate to what we're dealing with right now as we're staying home with our families. The essential question is, how do people get along? Read a story about a sister who finds a way to get along with her baby brother. And I know a lot of you are at home with your siblings, and I'm sure that you're trying to find ways to get along with them too. So maybe as we're reading the story, you guys can think of ways that you can get along with your siblings, as well as understanding the points of views. All right, so let's start. From the day she could talk, Lizzie loved to tell stories. Tall ones, true ones, funny ones, sad ones. Lizzie loved them all. She entertained the people in her mother's office. And the little girl grew up to be president and brought her parents to live with her in the White House. She made up fairy tales to share with her father during their hikes up Mount Tilapia. After slaying dragons in the forest, the princess gave a surprise birthday party for the king. She spun yarns for Big George. The beautiful girl and her handsome dog took a rocket to the moon and discovered a new planet in the solar system. Everything was fine until her little brother Marvin came along. When Lizzie tried to tell a story before breakfast, her mother said, "Not now, dear. Marvin has a dirty diaper." When she tried to tell her father a story after dinner, he said, "Maybe later, Lizzie. It's time for Marvin's bath." Luckily for Lizzie, Big George still loved her stories. He would listen for hours. Stories about dogs were his favorite. The faithful Labrador rescued his master from the storm-tossed seas. Arf, arf. So if we think about this story, the point of view of Lizzie, Lizzie, if we look at the story, thinks that her brother gets in the way. And how we can look back in the story is we can see how does Lizzie think that her brother gets in the way. And in this sheet, I have for everyone, or you can make up your own at home. You can draw this on your own. You guys do that in class. Or you can print out the one that I have made right here. Character. So we're going to say Lizzie. And her point of view right now, she thinks that her brother's getting in the way. So Lizzie thinks her new brother gets in the way. That's what she thinks. How do we know that? Where in the text can we find that information? So if we look, we can say, well, everything was fine until her little brother Marvin came along. Because when she tried to tell a story before breakfast, her mother said, "Not now, dear. Marvin has a dirty diaper." She also said, "Maybe later, Lizzie. It's time for Marvin's bath." So every time she wanted to talk to her parents, they said, "Not now." So you can put everything was fine until her little brother Marvin came along. All right, let's keep reading. When Lizzie started second grade, she discovered that her teacher, Miss Pennyroyal, loved stories too. All the kids in Miss Pennyroyal's class got to write stories and take turns reading them out loud. The brave young girl rescued her teacher from the alligator pit. Lizzie loved Miss Pennyroyal's second grade. At home, Marvin loved his big sister Lizzie. He helped her make her bed. He helped her brush her teeth. He even shared his oatmeal. Lizzie couldn't wait to get to school every morning. At school, Miss Pennyroyal taught her students how to create interesting characters. Think about what makes your character different from everybody else, she said, and describe that in your story. Easy peasy, thought Lizzie. She got out her Princess Merryweather pencil. While the other kids brainstormed, Lizzie started writing. She's already skipping that brainstorming. She wrote all through recess. She was still writing while the other kids ate lunch. Can I go first, please? Lizzie asked when it was time to share stories out loud. There's only one creature with footprints like this, Captain. You don't mean? I'm afraid so, sir. The Yeti is on the rampage again. Nice to see you using those new vocabulary words, says Miss Pennyroyal. Thank you, said Lizzie. So what is Lizzie thinking, and what is Lizzie feeling at this moment? And in this text, she's talking about writing. So how does Lizzie feel or think about writing? I think Lizzie thinks that writing is fun. And how we know that? So Lizzie is a character, thinks writing is fun. And how do we know? What in our text tells us that it's fun? Well, you can go back, and she said that writing was easy peasy. She started writing before the other kids even brainstormed. She wrote all through recess, and she was still writing while the other kids ate lunch. So you can write any of those as your clues. I'm going to choose she wrote all through recess as my clue to why I think she thinks writing is fun. All right, let's keep reading. The next day, while Lizzie was at school, Marvin found a tube of golden glitter glue in Lizzie's desk drawer. He made golden glitter swirls all over her favorite stuffed bear, Sebastian. Lizzie was not amused. Big sisters need to be patient, said Lizzie's mother. Babies can't help making messes, said Lizzie's father. Lizzie curled up in her bedroom with her imagination notebook and wrote a new story. Once there was a beautiful princess who lived in a castle by the sea. She made her parents very happy. Then the ugly prince was born. He cried all the time and made lots of messes, so the beautiful princess banished the ugly prince to the desert island. This castle is getting way too crowded, she told her trusty steed. So right now we're thinking, the point of view can come from someone other than Lizzie. Let's think about her parents. What are her parents' point of view? So let's look at the characters. Lizzie's parents. And what do they think? Lizzie's parents think that maybe Lizzie needs to be patient. I think so. Lizzie's parents think she needs to be patient. And our text evidence literally says, her mother says big sisters need to be patient, and her father says babies can't help making messes. So we can put both of those things on there. Big sisters need to be patient, and babies can't help making messes. All right. So we got that down. Let's keep reading. Lizzie was happy to go to school the next day. The kids in Miss Pennyroyal's class were still writing stories about interesting characters. Lizzie had tons of ideas. The kids in, where was I at? It was hard to find time to write them all down. Run for your lives! It's the Marvinosaurus. Marvin's the nastiest pirate that ever sailed the sea. Watch your fingers. There's a Marvin fish circling below. So she doesn't seem like she seems like she's incorporating her brother, but not in a very nice way, right? I don't believe I've ever heard of a marvin fish, said Miss Pennyroyal. It must be very rare. Oh, it is, said Lizzie. You hardly ever see one. All right. On Friday, Lizzie's mother announced she was taking Marvin to visit Grandma. I hope you won't miss your little brother too much, she said. No Marvin! Lizzie was thrilled. After spaghetti for dinner, she and her father played a long game of checkers. The next afternoon, Lizzie sharpened a whole box of pencils. She dusted the furniture in her Princess Merryweather magic castle. She rearranged the stuffed animals on her bed 12 times. But something was missing. What do you think was missing? At school, Miss Pennyroyal announced a new project. Now that we know about creating characters, we're going to write our own comic books, she said. Everyone needs to think of a character who has lots of adventures. Lizzie took out her Princess Merryweather pencil. She doodled. She stared out the window. For the first time, she couldn't think of a single idea. That night, while Lizzie's father worked on a sales report for his meeting, Lizzie tried to work on her comic book. She drew stars on the cover of her imagination notebook. She stared at a liver-shaped spot on the ceiling. She even cleaned out her sock drawer. Once in a far-off galaxy, she wrote. And then, nothing. The next day at school, the kids in Miss Pennyroyal's class turned in their comic book projects. Everyone except Lizzie. Remember, the deadline is the day after tomorrow, said Miss Pennyroyal. I know, Lizzie moaned. Maybe you need fresh inspiration, said Miss Pennyroyal. Maybe, said Lizzie. She chewed on the end of her Princess Merryweather pencil. It was a dark and stormy night, she wrote, and then nothing. Why do you think she had nothing to write about? At home, Lizzie looked for inspiration. She listened to music and drew pictures on blank sheets of paper. She reread her favorite fairy tales. She studied the comics in the Sunday paper. Nothing helped. I'll never think of a character for my comic book, Lizzie moaned. She went downstairs for a glass of juice. Mugwort, said the chrysanthemum. Marvin? Said Lizzie. When did you get home? Ziff-whizzle, said Marvin. Then he knocked over Lizzie's juice. Oh, Marvin, said Lizzie. Loops, said Marvin. Lizzie thought about Miss Pennyroyal's instructions. Interesting characters. Lots of adventures. Lizzie carried her Princess Merryweather pencil upstairs. She wrote until bedtime and while she was brushing her teeth. She was still writing during recess the next day. Is your comic book ready to turn in? Asked Miss Pennyroyal. Not quite, said Lizzie. I need to show it to someone at home first. As long as you turn it in by tomorrow, said Miss Pennyroyal. While her mother cooked dinner, Lizzie pulled Marvin into her lap. Listen to this, she said. The Amazing Adventures of Marvin with Big George the Wonder Dog. Run for your lives, yelled the mayor. Goo goo, says Marvin. Aliens have landed. They're taking over the city. Out of the sky swooped the amazing Marvin with Big George the Wonder Dog. Soon all was peaceful again in the city. Yay, Marvin! The people cheered. The mayor gave Marvin the key to the city. Long live the amazing Marvin, everyone shouted. Lizzie gave Marvin a hug. Big George lifted his chin and howled. That's only the beginning, said Lizzie. Wait till you see what happens in episode 2. So how do you think Lizzie's point of view was different at the end? Let's go back to Lizzie. And I think Lizzie's point of view changed. I think at first she thought her baby brother was getting in the way. And at the end, I think she really enjoyed her baby brother. Lizzie thinks having Marvin as a brother is good. And we can go back in our text evidence to find the clue, and we can say, well, it looks like Lizzie pulled Marvin into her lap. I think she likes him if she's pulling him into her lap. And she pulled him into his lap. Why? To read him the comic book she wrote about him. So this is our finished graphic organizer. We filled it out. The story, the characters, the clues, the points of view to all the characters. And I hope that you guys followed along. I hope you understood. I hope you enjoyed the story. And on your own, you won't be doing this with this story, but you're going to be doing it with the story called Soccer Friends. And I'll take all the screenshots for that so you guys would have it. And if you have any questions, you can always message me and ask me. Okay? All right. You guys have a good night.